capital X, F and H are the same. But then K is equal to H of X, where X, although it is in X, but it is also in X union Y. That is, we have realized K as an H image of some element in the domain of H. So we get this when we assume these inequalities. Next, so the remaining case is this. Okay. Now note that K is a natural number. You may be tempted to subtract this natural number throughout, that is, subtract the cardinality of X from all the terms. However, we cannot do that because we don't have subtraction. Instead, we take the help of the definition of less than or equal to itself. Do you remember what this means? If A and B are natural numbers, by definition it means that there exists a natural number I for which B is equal to A plus I. That's what it means when we write this. That is the first definition. So that's what we have to apply here. Since this is less than or equal to K, by definition K is equal to this plus 1 plus J for some natural number J. Now we have to decide what type of natural number J is. Definitely J being a natural number is greater than or equal to 0. Then, however, besides the first inequality, we also have the second inequality. So the second inequality, if you substitute this expression here and use the laws of inequality that we already have proved for us in the system of natural numbers, you can sort of cancel cardinality of X from both sides of this inequality. Then this inequality implies 0 is less than or equal to, not 0, sorry, if I cancel these two things, then I have 1 plus J is less than or equal to cardinality of Y. Okay, now since J is a natural number, whatever it is, 1 plus J is always greater than or equal to 1. Note that we also have this. Now you look at these two inequalities together. 1 plus J is a natural number lying between 1 and cardinality of Y, and G is a function whose range is this, the set of all natural numbers lying between these two natural numbers. So 1 plus J lies in the range of G. and since G is surjective, so 1 plus J will be the G image of some element in the domain of G. Since G is surjective, 1 plus J is equal to Gy for some y belonging to y. Okay. Then what happens to K? Then K is equal to cardinality of X plus 1 plus J. In place of 1 plus J, now we can put G of Y, where Y belongs to Y. Now you go back to the definition of the function h. Under this condition, we can write K is equal to h of Y, because the point Y is lying in Y. But this implies K is equal to h of Y, where Y definitely lies in capital Y, but after all it's also in X union Y. So in any case, we have shown that a natural number K that lies in the range of H is realizable as the H image of some element in the domain of H, either like this or like this. So that's why H is surjective. Okay. So, and this proves that X union Y in this case, because H is what? H is a function from X union Y to the set of all natural numbers lying between these two bounds. So that's why X union Y is finite and it has cardinality equal to this. And so we have proved the special case first, and now we are going to go to the general case. Note that the job is not done yet. We have to still consider the case where X and Y are not necessarily disjoint. Now we remove the condition that X and Y are disjoint. That is, now they are general sets. There may be non-empty intersection between them. Okay. It's easy to prove, or in fact we have proved this in the exercises on set theory, if I am correct. Let me just see if I find any reference that I have written here, or have I written it just like that? You see, one more thing, the fact that this inequality implies this, there are, you can refer to proper results because of which this thing is happening. I am not writing all the references. Okay, you can understand what we have used here. You can go back to those results in the development of the system of natural numbers, you can see what we have used. However, in this case, it's not a result, it's an exercise. That's why I am trying to see by exercise three, 1, 10. So this is towards the beginning of set theory. Okay, now we are going to handle the general case, but in doing so, we are going to use what we have proved above in the special case. X union y is equal to x minus y union y minus x union x intersection y, and the sets x minus y, y minus x and x intersection y are mutually disjoint. Okay, they are mutually disjoint. Then can we immediately write that this set is finite and its cardinality is the sum of the cardinalities of these sets? For that, however, we would need to ascertain that these sets themselves are finite, because without their finiteness, how can we apply this result where the individual sets whose union we are taking are given to be finite? Because that's why we are able to write these cardinalities now. So again, as usual, what I have written here is not entirely true, but we won't have any problem, because in the next part we are proving that every subset of a finite set is finite. So we can use that here, although it appears in the next part, but we can use that here, provided we don't use this one in the next part. I think that's the case. That's what we have done. In proving part C, we have just used induction. So yes, we can do that. However, we need to mention by part C, the sets x minus y, y minus x and x intersection y are finite, because x minus y and x intersection y are subsets of x, which is finite, and y minus x is a subset of y, which is also finite. So all these sets are finite. They are mutually disjoint and their union is this. So we can apply whatever we have proved here 2 times to take care of these 2 unions. So by the previous paragraph, x union y is finite and its cardinality equals the sum of the cardinalities of these sets plus although we have written it at once, but we will have to do it twice, in the sense that first you deal with this union. Since these two sets are finite, their union is finite, and the cardinality of this union is the cardinality of the first one plus the cardinality of the second one. Then you consider this union x and y and view it as the union of two sets. One of them is this union and the other is this set. We have already proved that this is finite, okay, and this is also finite. We have it here. So their union, which is nothing but x union y, is finite, and its cardinality is the cardinality of this union plus the cardinality of this union. The first cardinality is equal to the cardinality of x minus y plus the cardinality of y minus x. So that's how we are getting this, okay. But still we have to write something, because we don't have x minus y and y minus x in the original assertion. One can see that x is equal to x minus y union x intersection y, and y is equal to y minus x union x intersection y. And this union is a disjoint union. Both of them are disjoint because these sets are mutually disjoint. So we can again apply the previous result, and we already have the facts that these things are finite sets. So by the previous paragraph, again, here we are not going to say x and y are finite. That is something we are already given, but we are concerned about the cardinality. Plus cardinality of the intersection, and okay, now we are going to use the things here, but we have to be careful in writing the things. Specifically, what do we have to prove? In the original statement, it is given that this cardinality is less than or equal to do we wait, do we really need these things? Because we had to prove that x union y is finite in this general case also, which we have achieved. And additionally, what else we needed to prove? That this is less than or equal to the sum. Oh yes, we need to bring in the cardinalities of x and y. Yes, we need them. Without these extra things, we won't have them, because here we have cardinalities of x minus y and y minus x. Okay, so now we have to make sense of that inequality. If we add, if we add cardinality of x intersection y on both sides, what do we get then? Here we will have cardinality of x intersection y, and here, yes, that's what we have to do. Thus, cardinality of x union y plus cardinality of x intersection y is equal to, this equals this sum. In that sum, with the first term we write this one, x minus y plus this, plus the other two terms. Y minus x plus this. And from these two formulas, we get this. And this now implies that is because this, you view this sum as a single natural number. This sum is equal to one natural number plus another natural number. So by the definition of this relation, one of them is less than or equal to the other thing on the other side. And this now completes the solution to part B. Okay, now we move